Hi, good morning and good afternoon. My name is Dalton Miller, president and founder of RetireFlow, insurance agent advocate, friend to agents. I love Medicare and ACA agents. And I'm here today with, I would say, sort of a relatively new friend, but somebody who shares that same passion, Kevin Lee from Third Path Technology Group. Kevin, what's up from Las Vegas, Nevada? How are you?
Hello, good morning. How are you, Dalton?
I'm really excited. Folks who don't know, Kevin is a friend of the program, a user of RetireFlow, but has a cool little business that I want to talk to our audience about today. I think it's something really important that is totally and completely missing from this industry. Kevin deserves a trophy for coming up with something new and exciting. I'm serious. I mean, you kind of do, but we want to be the ones who help tell other agents about what you do, because I know I can think of literally 5,000 agents off the top of my head who could benefit from your services. But anecdotally, I've not been to Disney World since I was a little kid, and Kevin recently and his partner took my girlfriend and I to Disneyland, and it was off the hook. I mean, I felt like it had to be a fun day for you. I mean, because you got to hang out with
Absolutely.
me. I'm kidding. I'm
You
kidding.
and Jules are amazing company. I could not have asked for a better day.
Was there any highlights from that day? I mean, I feel like we had a great day at Disneyland. I'm trying to
We
remember.
did. I mean, it was carefree. We were all, back to our childhoods and living it up and just eating all of the food and riding all of the rides, and it was fantastic.
The smell of the water on Pirates of the Caribbean took
Yes.
me back. They make that in a candle, right?
I think they do. I think you can buy that somewhere.
Okay, well, you might see it end up in the back here, because I'm not going to Disney all that much, but like when you smell that water, like you know what that is.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, look, folks, I want to introduce Kevin and what he does, but I think I want to talk about sort of the state of the game. Um, RetireFlow is proud to serve 14,000 agents across the country. We're growing so fast, we're running out of millers to work at this organization. But what I've seen from agents across the country is, and I hear a lot, is I want a tool or a set of tools that works together well. I hear a lot of agents say, "Well, I want something. I want to go to one spot and I want everything to work together, and I want to have one login." And there are benefits to that, and there are systems out there that do that. But there's also a risk to having sort of a monolith. Um,
Mhm.
you know, Kevin, talk to me about the suite of tools out there that you see agents who are using, that our agents are using every day. What is the problem out there that you're hoping to resolve?
So the biggest thing that I hear from my customers, my clients, and those that I just have quick conversations with, like we did at Medicarians, there are so many different tools out there, hundreds and hundreds of different tools that are all targeted towards, um, helping agents do their job. You probably, if you've gone to any of the trade shows, any of the conferences, if you recently came from a conference like Medicarians, you probably saw 12 booths that do the exact same thing, right?
Yes, yes.
Right. And then it comes down to which one's giving away the better swag. But what
Right.
ends up happening is you get a whole bunch of these different tools. You're like, you know what? I need a tool that will send my email campaigns. I'm going to need a CRM. I'm going to need an email. Well, then how do I, do this with, with my calendar and scheduling? So maybe I throw in Calendly in there, and then where do I save all my files? And my cousin's using Dropbox, so I started adding that to the stack. But then what ends up happening is you have, 15, maybe 20 different tools. Some of them may talk to each other, some of them may not. A lot of these have duplicates. And so we're seeing that a lot. And the biggest complaint there is, well, how do I streamline this? How do I stop spending all of this extra money with tools that have all of this duplication? Or it's the complete opposite side of that. spectrum where you have one tool that most people are going to be in. Let's call that like, the integrity, or, they have many, many, many different features, Connecture as well.
Sure.
But what ends up happening with those, we call that the cheesecake factory of menus, right? So so it's this giant portfolio of things that it can do, but it doesn't necessarily do it well. So we like to take the best of breed type of approach where we handpick two, three, at most maybe four different tools that do work with each other, that do integrate with each other, to kind of give you that stack that isn't necessarily going to be over provisioned. It's not necessarily going to be the Cheesecake Factory where it doesn't do anything well. But that's kind of the sweet spot. So I know everybody wants that unicorn of one tool that rules them all, but that's not necessarily where you want to be. Yes, there are those tools out there, but they're not that great. Or like I said, the other way is you have a whole bunch of different tools that you're paying for that don't necessarily talk to each other. And that's also a bigger attack surface when it comes to security around your client's PHI.
Oh, and we're going to get into that here in a second. But so correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm just from a layman's perspective, because this is, to some degree, sophisticated stuff. You are an advisor to insurance agents on how to streamline and manage their workflow and all the different technology tools that they use. Is that a fair description?
Yeah, absolutely. Third Path Technology Group has kind of two arms to our business. So what we're kind of talking about here is the consultancy side. That's going to be your virtual CTO, technology officer kind of thing, where we can look at your technology stack, figure out where we can improve, give you a technology direction, give you a technology strategy. And then we also have our managed service side, where we can actually do all of that for you if you want to take a hands-off approach to the technology side of your business. I know that most agents out there are not technically inclined. They want to focus on their book of business, growing their agency, adding those new policies, and not spending time adding and removing users from their email, or trying to figure out how to back things up on a Friday night after they've talked to all of their clients and all they want to do is kick back on the couch. So we can also take that part over as well.
No, it's remarkable. So my question is to the agents who are tuning into this and watching this. If you could not be an agent, would another company hire you as their chief technology officer? I love everybody, but the answer is no. Okay, they wouldn't. You're not a CTO. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, the agents that I talk to are damn good people. They're incredible at servicing and maintaining a book of business, growing and training new agents, bringing people into their downline. But when you're dealing with API connections from Zapier to this, and you're like, well, is there PHI in this? Is Zapier HIPAA compliant? Stay out of that business. It's not worth it. And so an organization like Third Path Technology Group and Kevin and his team will do that for you. And
absolutely,
so that makes me really excited, because and honestly, I wish that every RetireFlow user would consider working with an organization like this. I think Kevin may have to staff up if that was the case, but it's true, because these problems that agents are facing are hard. They're hard things. I run a software platform. And this stuff is hard for me. For instance, you're talking about Integrity Connect. It's a full stack system. It's a CRM. It does enrollment, but there's agents out there who are paying for Calendly, and it's not their job to stay attuned to every single Integrity press release, because there's a lot. They're always doing new stuff. They roll out a calendar feature, and it's built in, and it comes at no cost. And so you could go to somebody like a Kevin and say, hey, I want to make sure that I'm taking advantage of this. Or, hey, Kevin, I'm paying for a tool like Calendly, $30, $40 a month, and whatever it might be, maybe more. Do I have to? Here's what I have. Here's what my FMO provides me. Here's what I get through agent methods and RetireFlow and et cetera. So it makes me really excited. I guess, this is a relatively new venture, Kevin. Is that fair to say? How old is Third Path Technology Group?
We're about 2 years old.
2 years old.
Yeah.
So talk to me about an agent who has come to you, worked with you, and what did it look like on the front end? And then what did it look like after Kevin put some magic on it?
Yeah, no, that's actually that's great. So just to give a little bit of perspective and color around, what we can actually do for you. One of our agents, our early adopters, that went with us, was using a multitude of tools, right? Watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos of, hey, how do I get this system to talk to that system? Or I would like to start having somebody schedule their appointments online. So they ended up with several different tools, Calendly being one of them because it integrates with their Google account.
Yeah.
Then they started using a CRM, Agency Block, which, by the way, Agency Block is fantastic.
Yeah.
But at that time, it's kind of like, well, then how do you start, scheduling these appointments? And then and how do you start getting some of this information to flow from that appointment into Agency Block? So then they kind of discovered, hey, I can do this with Zapier. So then they started adding Zapier to the stack, and then they started getting a lot of clients, which is fantastic, right? But then they're like, okay, well, now I need to kind of keep track of, where my leads are, who do I need to keep warm, who do I need to follow up with? So then they started adding something in there to say, keep me a little bit more organized. So then they purchased a subscription to Monday.com. So then they started, tracking everything there. And before you knew it, we're spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars trying to make all of these tools work together. A lot of frustration around, hey, how do I, make all these things actually do this? Because those zaps are not easy to build.
Nope.
Yeah, Zapier says, yeah, you just do this, and it sounds a lot easier in their marketing material than it actually is. And so I was like, hey, I can help you with this. And so as this was one of my first clients, and we were able to consolidate all of that with Agency Block and with Microsoft 365. So basically those tools two together, I was able to basically fulfill that stack. So we were able to get rid of Calendly, because that is integrated with Microsoft 365 as Microsoft Bookings. We were able to get rid of Monday.com because that is a list within Microsoft 365 is what they call it. We were able to remove their Dropbox account. I know I didn't mention that one earlier, but that was another one that was consolidated into Microsoft 365. And Zapier, that's the big one. We were able to remove that as a subscription because Microsoft Flow, you can basically write anything that you want and custom to any system that has an API, which all of those do. So we're able to streamline, save money, and reduce that attack surface, just because cybersecurity is one of those big things out there that a lot of people don't consider as top of mind, but we do. And by reducing the amount of tools that you have, definitely reduces that attack surface. So I would say that was a big win for this customer and a big win for us, just to show that, hey, this is where we can add value.
It's remarkable, and I genuinely believe every agent out there should take a meeting with Kevin and say, hey, here's what I'm using. What would you suggest? Because look, I think, and I don't want to speak for Third Path and your team, but agents come with different tools, different stories, different preferences. And you talk about it, and you were giving specific examples, which is perfect and awesome. But there might be an agent who says, I live and die by this system. Let's help build around that. And so I don't want to assume things, but you're not a guy, and I know Kevin personally, who plays favorites. But you're also somebody who has an awareness of what is available in the insurance agent market.
Yes.
That your nephew or niece who's a tech person might not understand. Is that a fair description?
You hit the nail right on the head, Dalton. Yeah, there's a lot of different tools out there that are targeted towards insurance and insurance agents. And I actually know those tools, right? I am an agent myself. I came from this world. And so, and I also came from the corporate America world, doing technology. So that is how we kind of formed Third Path, is we wanted to marry the two. So if you ask your niece or your nephew, or your, we absolutely do. That might be working for a university's IT department or a manufacturer's IT department, and they're kind of helping you along. They may not necessarily know the tools. You mentioned Integrity Connect or Connect Your Direct, and they may be like, I don't know what those are. I've never heard of those before. Right. We know exactly what they do and how to help you with those things.
It makes me so excited, because I know that agents who give you a call, email you, whatever it might be, are going to have a better system by the time that you're done with it. And so and to talk about that, I think you're being generous, Kevin, because I talk to these nieces and nephews all the time. Agents call on and they go, my daughter, she's younger, and so therefore she's good at this. And not to talk smack about the daughter or the son, whoever's advising. They're probably better than the agent, but they don't understand the suite of tools that is available to insurance agents provided by FMOs or just in the general insurance agent community. And it's time. Let me be the person it's time to bench them. Okay. Let your niece or your nephew go to college and not have you hire them to ask a bunch of questions that you don't understand and that they don't understand. Okay. It's a better world if you utilize somebody who knows this stuff. So one of the things that I think is immensely important, that is in many cases just breezed over by technology tools in our industry, is data security. RetireFlow being a great example. We capture so much PHI, right? We got drug lists for, at this point in time, it would seem like probably half of America. And we do our job in making sure that we protect that. There are certain standards and credentials that we earn to prove that to the world,
yes,
to our partners. And so, Kevin, if you're talking to somebody who has limited technology experience, maybe somebody who's a prolific agent who serves thousands of people, what are some words and terms, maybe credentials, that agents should be looking for in their tools? And obviously, of course, you can help alleviate that for them in their search. But what should I be looking for if I'm an agent from something that I'm utilizing?
Sure. So marketing departments get really creative with how they can market some of these newer tools. And again, if you've visited, Medicarians recently and saw a whole bunch of booths, you probably saw a whole bunch of new to the game platforms out there. And I'm going to call them platforms. A lot of these are going to be software as a service, just like RetireFlow is.
Sure.
But like you mentioned, there's going to be certifications or different badges that you can earn in order to prove to the world that you are doing things in a safe and secure method based off of a globally recognized standard. Now, SOC 2, Type 2, those are going to be the ones that you're going to look for with an industry that is going to be providing you a SaaS service. So I know that RetireFlow has that. You may see just SOC 2 with absolutely nothing behind it. That's going to be your Type 1 report. And those are going to be a moment in time, while Type 2 says, this is what we've observed from this organization over a set amount of time. And they do, in fact, follow this cybersecurity standard or framework. ISO 27001 is another one. That one's out of Europe, but it's also a globally recognized one. And that can apply to more organizations than just SaaS. And I know those are a lot of technical terms there. But what this basically comes down to is that a third-party independent organization has validated that what your SaaS provider is doing is safe, is secure, and follows that global standard to the letter. There's a lot.
Interrupt you, Kevin, just really quick.
Yeah.
For our listeners at home, if I will personally send you home baked brownies if you knew about ISO 27001. If SOC 2 is a little bit more popular, but do not. We're not asking you. Kevin and I are not saying go get schooled up on these things. In fact, the opposite. Rely on somebody who knows these things already.
Yep.
People go to school for this stuff. People go to, spend careers managing data security. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm storing a lot of health related information and a lot of personal demographic information, there's a difference between PII and PHI, the demographic information versus health. Both of these things need to be secured. And you as an agent are sitting on a mountain of it. And if you don't know off the top of your head that says, I don't know what data security tools or credentials my CRM has, or maybe worse, the Excel spreadsheet that I keep on my desktop, or so on and so forth. If you don't know, that's a reason to call.
Yeah, we can help you with those things. And I guess where I was going with this was, there's a lot of newer companies out there that may not have these certifications. So you're going to see their platform, their marketing material is going to look super sexy, super shiny, like, hey, I want this, and it's going to be at a great price. Those are the things that kind of raise red flags to us, right? Is hey, do they have their credentials? Because typically a platform that is going to have all of these certifications and is going to protect your data and your client's data are typically going to come with a little bit of a higher price tag, because these certifications are not cheap, as I'm sure Dalton can probably tell you.
But I'm using my left leg because security took it, so I don't have it anymore. I got one leg right now.
Yep. So those are the ones that I would just be a little bit cautious about, right? But again, that is what we're here for. That is what we can help you do. You let us know what technology stacks you, what tools are in your technology stack, what platforms you are considering, and we can do that research for you and let you know, hey, is this something that is going to be safe and secure? Should we move forward with it, or do you see any red flags with this? But yeah, those new to market, shiny, sexy platforms, those are the ones that that you gotta kind of look out for. The bigger names that I think most of you are using through your FMO, the Integrity Connect, the Connect Your DRX, and of course, Retire Flow, all have those certifications.
He's not a paid actor. I didn't ask him to say it. It's just true at this point. But no, it's funny you say that. Also, in the common knowledge sphere, in this universe, people are talking about technology. We heard a lot of Medicarians, but just in general, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
AI is here, and it's helping people.
Okay? It is.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not Skynet yet. It might be someday, but right now, Sam Altman, he probably doesn't know my blood pressure, but maybe he does. There is a ton of tools out there. It's so much so that it's like word salad soup. Okay, you've got ChatGPT, you have Claude, you have Gemini from Google, you've got Grok, you've got Perplexity, you've got tools that are built in to other tools, and it is overwhelming to agents. Agents generally, I found from the thousands that we meet with at Retire Flow, want to get better. They see that there's a cool thing out there, and they go, I want to be a part of that, but I know it's helping people. I don't know how to crack it. How do I get into it? And so, Kevin, I know that you've had some experiences where you've seen agents use AI in very, very bad no.
Yeah.
But then also you're able to illuminate for them good ways and safe ways to use it. Talk to me a little bit about your experience with that.
Yeah. So AI is a question that actually comes up a lot is, hey, how can AI make me seem like a bigger agency? Or how can AI help me do my job faster so that I can help more people? And faster doesn't necessarily always mean better. So those tools, you mentioned a few, Dalton, the Geminis, the Chat GPTs, the Perplexities. Each of them kind of do a little bit of a different thing. And you probably have learned that throughout your AI journey. And you probably get different responses from them. And the way that happens on the back end is the more information that you feed into it, meaning asking questions, uploading documents, copying and pasting, all of that goes to what's called training that model. Well, I'm here to tell you that your agents are copying and pasting or uploading, quotes or uploading, different forms that they've gathered from their clients into tools like ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok and saying, hey, compare these two plans for me. But what is happening is, well, it's looking at all of that information, not just the plan comparison, but it now knows that customer's personal information. So you've uploaded PHI, you've uploaded PII. So now the next person that goes in saying, hey, is there a way to find out what the phone number and social security number for Sally Sue are? Well, you know what? You probably just fed it that. So in about a day, that AI is going to know exactly that information and be able to provide it to the public. So, there's an unfortunate thing out there about these things, and you may even hear that, ChatGPT and Microsoft Copilot offer, compatible plans that are, private or secure. But those really only come with a enterprise plan, which, those are going to be, hundreds of thousands of dollars each month,
Yes.
geared more towards enterprises. And you have to sign these agreements and all of that in order to keep your history private. Which I know that most agents aren't doing that, right? They don't have that level of a paid subscription. So the $20 a month that you're paying that you think covers you on that, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's this is not to scare people.
No, it's not.
And Kevin's a great testament to that. This is not to scare people. It's just to say that there are correct ways to use these tools and there are incorrect ways to use these tools.
Absolutely. AI is not going away, right? It's only getting better. People are building bigger data centers. There are chip shortages and supply constraints for computers because they're all going to these AI companies. And so it is definitely one of those tools that we're going to need to learn how to work with, because it is just going to get bigger, stronger, and better. We just don't want it to get better because of the information that you're feeding it that belongs to your clients. So we want to make sure that everyone is using it in the safe and correct way in order to keep that client data safe.
And I think where your business is brilliant, and I mean the reviews from agents who have utilized your services are magnificent, is you're not here to decide what technology tools agents use.
No.
You're here to meet them where they're at, but the person who I believe should dial the phone number immediately. Look, and I'm not a paid spokesman for Third Path. Okay, I'm just saying it's a good idea. If you're in a gray area where, okay, I want to use AI but I don't know how, or I'm unhappy with the CRM that I'm using because I feel like I'm paying a lot of money for it and it's not really working the way I want. Or if there's something out, whatever it might be, if there's something out there that's hazy that takes place on your computer, all the way down to managing, your Gmail account or your Outlook and making sure that those work together, that's when you call. And if you're looking to better enhance your online presence, make sure that when beneficiaries work with you, that they're getting the level of service from the technology that speaks for you as much as if they were to come into your office. That's a person who should work with Third Path. I think on even a basic level, you talked about this on Flow Day, Kevin. It's making sure that you're not Dalton Miller at gmail.com. You are Dalton at MillerSeniorSolutions.com, because now you've got a better professional front door. And so God love our nephews and nieces, our sons and our daughters, the tech people in our life, but let them be young people, okay? Use a system like Third Path Technology Group to make sure, take a look at this. I'm sure that Kevin, you can talk a little bit about how much that costs, or maybe just give an agent some idea of how much that can scale. But I would venture to guess, for the people that you served, hiring Third Path Technology Group is a lot more affordable than paying a bunch of subscriptions that you don't need. Is that a fair description?
Yes, I would say that oftentimes the amount that we will save a company by consolidating their tools will definitely pay for our services in itself. So, yeah, so it's like a free service, right? It's free money at that point. But you guys are brokers. You guys own agencies, and that is basically the same thing that we're providing our clients. It's just a different product. So of course, Sally Sue can go out there and search ACA plans. They can go out there and search Medicare plans and do all of that, but they hire you as a broker to help them navigate that. You are the expert in the insurance space. We are the experts in the technology space. So we can definitely help you look at the different technologies out there, compare which ones are going to be a better fit for you. Not everything is going to be, a one size fits all, just like insurance is. Each thing is going to come with a different plan, whether you are a, bronze, silver, gold type plan, and what, deductibles are and all of that kind of stuff. If everybody knew all of that, you wouldn't be in business. And so we want to be that broker for you. We want to make sure that we can help you navigate the technology landscape, just like you help your clients navigate the insurance industry landscape. So,
no, it makes me excited. Agents are really great at serving their clients, retaining their clients, finding new clients. Don't be messing with Zapier APIs, and it's just, I don't want to do it. I miss my days of being a broker. So take Kevin up on his offer here. Check this out. See if it's a good fit for you. The phone number is 702-790-7900. It's a great phone number. Or hello@thirdpathtechnology.com. I think I have it flashed up on the screen. If not, I will make sure that it is. But life's too short. Okay. And the other thing, my final parting words are, we're taping this on May 5th. I bet I can get it out there in the next couple of days. This is the time. Now is the time to meet with Kevin, not when the leaves are changing and the house is burning down during AEP and OEP. So I imagine as a result of our pushing of Kevin that he's going to be a very busy guy. So get on his schedule.
Yes.
See if this is a good fit for you. And we're really, really excited about it. So Kevin, congrats on a great idea. I wish I had thought of it, but you are far better to do this than we are. We're not as good at it as you. So, and I look forward to our next day at Disney.
Yeah, absolutely, Dalton. And thank you for, helping us out with this. And I love partnering with your family and the Retire Flow team. You guys have been nothing but fantastic. And for those of you who are not using Retire Flow, because I know that I've talked to some of you at Medicare, Medicarians, I 100% say that, Retire Flow has helped a lot of people, because it's either you don't know about it and now you do, or it's I can't live without Retire Flow. So it's one of those two stories. And if you are not a Retire Flow subscriber yet, I 100%, 10,000% recommend Retire Flow. And I am a Retire Flow user as well. And it has saved me and the agency that I work for so much time and money. So
you heard it here first, folks. 10,000% from Kevin Lee. I appreciate it. Great talking with you. Get a hold of Third Path Technology Group. Thanks.
Thank you.